and welcome to this week's edition of Let's Talk Kids Books Live. Yay! Okay, so I will not belabor. I'm not going to keep you guys, but I have like last week I think I said a chalk list full, which makes no sense. Um, so um, I have a stack of books. We're just gonna go stack of books. We're gonna use the play on words because it's a stack of books that you are just going to love. So this I think almost all of them, if not all of them, are new books. Some of them haven't even been cataloged yet. So you guys are getting a sneak peek. Actually, yes. I think maybe at this yeah, you'll be able to check them out though. You should look them up. Put holds on them because there are records in the system, but they may not be available like right when you see this, but they'll be available. So check them out. Now here we go. First book is going to be Calm with the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Sorry, I'm just going to go through the list and then we'll go through each book. This was for Baby, A Little Book of Kisses by Jen Arena and illustrated by Blanca Gomez. Our Celebración, which is by Susan Middleton, Elia, and Ana Aranda. Zero Local, Next Stop, Kindness. This one's by Ethan Murrow and Vita Murrow. Germs versus Soap. This is written by Dee Dee Dragon and illustrated by Hannah Robinette. Professor Astrocat's Deep Sea Voyage by Dr. Dominic Walleman and Ben Newman. Milo Moss is officially amazing by Lauren Albright. My Big Fat Zombie Goldfish by Mo O'Hara. Donuts the Destroyer. Sounds like a wrestling name. This is by Sarah Grayley and Steph Pirenens. And finally, Farm Crimes, Cracking the Case of the Missing Egg. This is by Sandra Dumash. Okay, this is great. So let's get through these. First up, let's talk about Calm with the Very Hungry Caterpillar. And as a lot of you know, whether it was from when you read them when you were younger or when your kids are now reading them, the Very Hungry Caterpillar books are penned by the wonderfully amazing illustrator and author Eric Carle. So, this is part of the World of Eric Carle books, and it's basically a mindfulness book. So I think, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before. I believe it was last week. I had done, 2 weeks ago, I had done the mindfulness breathing book. It was called Alpha Breaths. And so I feel like in this time where we're going through now a different transition where kids are going back to school, and what does that look like for different families? Sometimes it's nice to just be able to take a deep breath and just let it be. Because what are we going to do, right? We have to go with the flow, we have to go with the system, but we want to make sure that you keep your peace of mind. So maybe sometimes you do need to take that extra minute to just take a deep breath, recenter yourself, and then re-enter the situation so that you can get it right? So what's great about this book is mainly obviously for kids and for the little ones who may still be trying to work through a lot of their feelings, whether it's that their minds are busy, like Monkey here, or you just need to stop and breathe. Take stock of whether you're feeling happy or sad, and just knowing that, it's all going to be okay. So I really highly recommend, especially if you are having a child who's having, issues with or we'll say challenges with behavior or challenges with the situation or experiencing any kind of unrest or anxiety. It might be a good idea to I mean, unless it's a diagnosed one and you guys have a plan. I don't want to mess with anyone's plan because I'm not that kind of professional. But I say if it's something that's like, a case of the jumpies or a case of the this would be a good book to read to kind of bring it back home. The next book I want to highlight. Oh, sorry. So yeah, so that was Calm with the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Next book I want to highlight, Pesos for Babies. For babies, sorry. A Little Book of Kisses, and it's by Jen Arena and illustrated by Blanca Gomez. Now, as you guys know, or you may not know, but September 15th through October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month. So I will be trying to highlight as many books that cover the Spanish language and culture, Hispanic and Latino, Latinx culture, Latinx culture. Sorry, I'm so sorry I'm mispronouncing all of these. Please let me know and just tell me Magda stop. But I want to make sure to to highlights the culture and highlights the different books and the different authors that have taken the time to create these most beautiful, tremendous books to highlight their culture and to bring awareness to different ideas, issues, and just life. We're all just living our lives. Let's get to know each other a little bit. So that's all to say. This Was for Baby is a really good book for an introduction to very simple words in Spanish. So it will have words like bebe for baby and besos for kisses, mami, papi, perro, and gato for kitty, sorry, for cat, kitty, and perro for doggy or dog. And it's a good way, because at that age, they soak up everything. Like, so easy to learn a language when you're a kid because you're a sponge, and so take advantage of the sponge and let them help them to learn multiple languages so they can be polyglots. Hello, there are change makers. These are our future leaders. Let's get them there. Let's give them every advantage they can have. So, Business for Baby is a good way to do that. And definitely, I mean, it's a short book. It's really easy to get through. You could read this for bedtime. You could read this, at a random time of the day. Either way, it's great and help them sound out the words and help them get used to them. It's great. I can't even. There's nothing else I can say about this book because it's just so great. Whistles for Babies. Whistles for Baby, A Little Book of Kisses by Jenna Reina and illustrated by Blanca Gomez. And of course, me, I have to say, I love the illustrations so much. I'm obsessed with illustrations. I'm obsessed. Okay, I love it. And this cat is so cute, and I don't even like cats. So that's telling you something. All right, the next book I want to highlight is Zero Local. Next Stop, Kindness. This book is by Ethan Morrow and Vita Morrow. Yeah, Ethan Morrow and Vita Morrow. Yes. So let me tell you, this book in particular is it's a wordless picture book. I don't want to lead with that, but I feel like I don't want to lead you astray. If you're not into wordless picture books, I say still read this book because what's so beautiful about this book is the way the illustrations were done and how the story progresses. I mean, man, if you're talking about my love for illustrations, this book, even from the beginning, like first turn of the page, you already get the scene. And they call it Zero Local, and the authors actually live in Boston, but when I read this, I think of New York. But I think the point of the book was it could be anywhere that has a public transit system. Anyone can be light. Anyone can exhibit kindness to all those around them. So this book takes you through the days of, I think it's like 5 days of the week. So it starts on Monday and it ends on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So it starts on Monday, ends on Friday. Sorry, I just want to make sure. And So this book starts with this woman here, and there's this girl. And if you notice, this book is generally pretty black and white, but there are spots where you'll see some what do they call it again? Man, I should have looked at this concept before I started. Um, but basically, in this book, they highlight the color yellow. So wherever you see yellow, well, I'm not going to tell you how. I'm going to let you guys read the book so that you can understand how yellow works in here. But just know that it's definitely a worthwhile read. You can even make up your own story about what's happening, but as you read through, you'll see there really is a narrative that's going through. And let me take a moment to shout out. I think it was Beta who did the art, or was it Ethan who did the art? I think it's Ethan who did the art. Now, maybe it was both of them. Let me highlight this art here. The detail, the detail in these characters' faces, like it's just beautifully remarkable. Like I I can't gush about this book enough. Let me tell you, I love this book so much. But basically, the woman is an artist, and when she gets on the train, she draws. I don't know if you guys have ever seen accounts like Subway Art Creatures, where like you'll see artists who sit there and they'll like sit there and draw people, and it's amazing what these artists do. Um, but this one in particular, she's drawing, and then this girl who's sitting next to her is like, "Ooh, what is she doing?" And so she draws, and then what she does is when she finishes with her creation, she hands it to the conductor, and it says, "Thank you." And so she's just spreading positivity by, giving some spot of brightness in the day, right? So I would definitely recommend this book completely. Zero Local, Next Stop Kindness by Ethan Morrow and Vita Morrow. The next book I want to highlight is Our Celebracion, which is by Susan Middleton Elia and Ana Aranda. What's really good about this book is it has a lot of words in Spanish. And so if you are trying to learn Spanish, if you're trying to teach your kids Spanish, or you're trying to teach them about the culture, and you're like, ooh, here's a good book where they get to see everyday, they get to see everyday items in Spanish. The book is not completely in Spanish. The book is mainly in English, but there are words highlighted in Spanish. This one is centered around a parade that's coming through the town, which I know is a sore spot because we didn't have any parades this year. But it's really beautiful to look at the different scenes and to see the Spanish words that correspond. What's also good about this book is at the end there's a glossary. So if you're looking at the words and you're trying to figure out how to sound them out, they have a pronunciation guide next to each word, and then also they have a definition for each word. So so it's really, it's great. I love this book so much, and highly tremendously recommend it. It's beautiful. I want to read from it. Let me see if I can do a little bit. I'm actually going to read it for one of the story times, I believe, this week or next week. All right, so here we go. No one's working, closed tiendas, bright balloons, and meriendas. All the buildings dress so cool, rojo and blanco plus azul. Count the dozens of banderas as we climb las escaleras. So we have tiendas, which are stores, and they're all closed, right? We have meriendas, which is picnics. These people kind of seem a little socially distanced too, huh? All the buildings dress so cool. Rojo, we got red, blanco, white, and azul. Blue, you're getting it. Las escaleras is for the stairs. Banderas, let me see. I feel like I thought I knew that one, but I forgot. It might be banned. Sorry, y'all. I'm taking up so much time. Banderas is for flags. So these are flags. Banderas are flags. So if you're looking for a nice, cute introduction for your kids for Spanish, Our Celebración by Susan Middleton Ilya and Ana Aranda, that book is for you. Now, next book I wanted to highlight, Germs versus Soap, which is written by Dee Dee Dragon and illustrated by Hannah Robinette. Germs, beware, it says on the back. Germs versus Soap, very simply, is exactly what it says. It's Germs versus Soap. And it's a very cute, I'd say a very cute breakdown or rundown of why it's important to wash your hands to get rid of the germs, and the importance of soap in that process. So I know that in this time of pandemic, probably have had many different people, many different articles, many different sources tell you how to take care of this, like wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. And so this is a really good way to introduce that topic to your kids if they're not understanding it, or if they want to learn a little bit more about it. It's really cute. It's kind of in a picture book format. There are moments where it's a little more dense than others, so it might be for maybe not for toddlers or like the little ones, but just a little bit above that. So maybe like I'd say ages 4 and up would probably find this to be an entertaining and helpful book. So let me quickly go through a little section. So this book talks about the journey of germs and how they, where they're what they do once they've settled down, and sometimes where they come from. So once the germs finally settle down, they reflect on the importance of being on hands. Lucky for us, we're on hands. Unlike poor Bjorn way over there. How'd he get so far away? The kids sneeze into their elbow. See? So that's a good way not to spread germs, is to not sneeze into your hand, because, you don't touch things with your elbow, but you touch things with your hands. All germs know that eating lots of energy cupcakes makes them toot a lot. The toot could be a silent toot, a medium toot, or even a loud trumpet toot. Germs don't care. They just have to be stinky, because stinky toots make kids sick. And then it just goes on to to talk a little bit more about how the germs travel and what the best way is for this kid to get rid of the germs. So check it out. Next book I wanted to highlight, Professor Astrocat's Deep Sea Voyage by Dr. Dominic Wallman and Ben Newman. Now, it was so hard for me to find a page on here that I could highlight, so I'm just gonna kind of flip through the book a little bit, and because it's so good. That's why it's not a bad book. It's a really great book, but it is dense. So this one would definitely be for elementary school age, and definitely for those who are interested in what happens underneath the surface. So if you have a kid who's very interested in sea life and the shells and all that fun stuff, not migration, what's it called? Reefs and corals, and fish, sharks, stuff like that, shipwrecks. This is the book for them. Okay. So you already know, based on how I'm going on and on about this book, that I just love the illustrations. I think they're really great, really cute. Here's the one on sharks. And what I'll highlight about this book is we placed it in the nonfiction collection because they give you a lot of facts about the different kinds of sharks, and each page is just chock full of facts and highlights about the different creatures that you'll find under the sea. So they'll have stuff pointing to different areas. So, for instance, on the shark, they have a spot for the skin, for the gills, for the eyes, and for the snout. And it'll tell you a little tidbit about each part of the shark. And around here, it talks about the different kinds of sharks. It talks about different things like their senses, their fins, their teeth, some history, and it's really, really, really good the way that they do this. And what I love, because you know me, well, you may not, but honestly, anytime I'm reading a book, especially one that says that it's talking about facts, I'm saying, where's the bibliography? Where are the references? Where's the list of stuff? Like where's your backup? How are you backing up all this stuff? Um, so so in this book is something that you would use in a bibliography. But what I love about this book is that they have a section on what can you do. So how can you further help make sure that the ocean is a great place for all the creatures that live there. There's also factoroids. I thought it was factoids. It's factoroids. Um, where they kind of give you some fun facts about stuff in the sea. And finally, a glossary. Oh, sorry, a glossary and an index. Okay, so the glossary goes over some of the concepts in depth. The words like abyssal, photosynthesis, sea level, serrated, greenhouse gases, and it's very, very simple explanation of what these words are. So check it out. The next book I want to highlight, Milo Moss is Officially Unamazing by Lauren Albright. So I'm going to read. Oh, sorry. So if you notice, especially, I don't know that this is completely the case now, but for a brief moment in time, some of us were completely thrown by the lack of toilet paper. Well, apparently, Milo Moss has all of it. There are hundreds of toilet paper rolls and thousands of failures in Milo's quest for a Guinness World Record. Oh, I see. He took them all because he was trying to get a world record. One world record could change his life, but one more failed attempt could ruin it. Milo Moss has been on a mission to achieve his family's goal of breaking a Guinness World Record since he was born. Except all he's got to show for his countless attempts are a tilted toilet paper tower, a toothpick blob, and a lifetime of epic failures. But Milo knows they're getting close. It's why he and his parents are standing in the middle of a football stadium, dressed as human-sized cockroaches. When a record attempt goes terribly wrong, Milo decides to face the facts. He's never going to break a record. At least his best friend Jesse can keep his spirits up. That is, until Jesse discovers the truth about Milo's disastrous record attempt and threatens to expose it to the entire school. Desperate to avoid public humiliation, Milo must team up with his arch nemesis to bury the truth and stop the record-breaking madness once and for all. But will Milo be able to leave once his dream of breaking into Guinness? Will Milo be able to leave behind his dream of breaking into Guinness, or will he learn there's more to life than winning? Packed with humor and heart, Milo Moss is Officially Unamazing is a charming story about family traditions, new friendships, and discovering the true meaning of winning. Let me read you the first chapter. It's pretty short. Chapter 1. My favorite story from the Guinness World Records is a tiny piece of land in the middle of the ocean. Somewhere close to Great Britain exists Bishop Rock. It's only the size of about 3 tennis courts and is known as the smallest island with a building on it. The story goes like this. A long time ago, ships would be drifting through the waves, open ocean as far as a crow's nest guy could see. The crews of the ships would be thinking they were in for smooth sailing as they were swapping decks, walking planks, carving new wooden legs, and whatnot. Then, without warning, bam! They'd ram into this Tiny, non-threatening, no big deal island, and their boat would splinter into toothpicks. It kept happening again and again until some higher up, like a king or queen, was like, "We have far too many toothpicks and not enough boats because of that silly island. We must fix this. Go forth and build a lighthouse." So they hired some dude to build that lighthouse. For 3 years, the guy and his crew worked to construct it out of the middle of endless sea. Sunscreen wasn't even invented yet, or porta potties. Over 1,000 days later, the work was done. A 120 foot tall lighthouse stood on this itty bitty island in the middle of a great big ocean. But before they could even have a grand opening celebration, something went wrong. A big wave came up and whoosh, washed the lighthouse away, just like that. Splash! Gone. All before they even lit it up. So this guy gets to work again and design something better. This time it takes him and his crew years and years to build. He makes sure this one is waterproof. Nearly 3,000 days later, that lighthouse is finished. This one this is the one worth noting. This one is called the King of Lighthouses, and it gets the island in Guinness. I love this story so much because I get it. All the stuff that happens before is okay because eventually it wins. The lighthouse outlasts the waves. The island gets a record. This is what gives me hope. Someday, my parents and I will get a record too, and that day is today. Which is why we are currently in the car dressed as human-sized cockroaches. If you thought that that was really cool, you want to check out this book. It's called Milo Moss is officially unamazing by Lauren Albright. I want to read this book after that first chapter. The next book I want to highlight, My Big Fat Goldfish by Mo O'Hara. When Tom's big brother decides to become an evil scientist, his first experiment involves dunking Frankie the goldfish into toxic green gunk. Tom knows that there's only one thing to do, zap the fish with a battery and bring him back to life. But there's something weird about the new Frankie. He's now a big fat zombie goldfish with hypnotic powers, and he's out for revenge! So Mo O'Hara has written My Big Fat Zombie Goldfish series. She's also written the sequel series or the follow up series, My Fantastically Evil Vampire Pet, and also last week's Let's Talk Kids Book Live, I highlighted the newest offering in her catalog, which was Agent Moose, which is a graphic novel series that's coming up. That the book I highlighted last week is the first offering. So you should definitely check that out. Check this out. I'm gonna read you the first chapter. I'm gonna cop to the fact that we are kind of late to the My Big Fat Zombie Goldfish game because this book was actually published a few years ago. But but when I saw Agent Moose and I saw that there was like a My Big Fat Zombie Goldfish series, I thought, hello, why don't we have that on our shelves? So that's why we ordered it just for you guys. So chapter 1, The Evil Scientist. Yesterday, my big brother Mark turned into a real life actual evil scientist. I mean, he always was mostly evil anyway. You know, knocking me down, uh, things or over things, locking me in things or out of things, squashing me under things or between things, that kind of mostly evil stuff. But lately, he slid up the evil scale from mostly evil to nearly total evil. It started with the way he talked. "Hey, Tom!" he shouted. "Remote, now!" Mark spoke in short words like his brain had shrunk or something. He grabbed the remote and kicked my foot away. "Moron," he mumbled. My best friend Pradeep, who lives next door, says moron is a big brother word for little brothers. His brother Sanj, who's also mostly evil, calls him that too. Luckily, Sanj is away at boarding school, though, so he can only be mostly evil to Pradeep during school vacations. I told my mom about Mark going more evil, but mom said it's just that Mark is hormonal. Sorry, which is which I think is why he's moaning at home a lot. She said he can't help acting evil. Well, she didn't say evil exactly, but she should have. She said it's because he has a lot of home moans racing through his body. Just when I think Mark couldn't get worse, Granny and Granddad got him a chemistry set for his birthday. It came in a huge box with big official writing on the front that read, "Warning! Only for use by children over 12 years old, to be used solely under the supervision of adults." While I was reading the box, Mark whacked my head from behind. "Don't touch this, got it?" he said. I walked away rubbing my head, mostly because it hurt, but also to get my head out of the way in case he decided to whack me again. He took out a white scientist coat and looked at all the stuff inside the box. There were bottles and test tubes and cups and little stirring things, all made of glass. Real breakable glass. Mom looked at the chemistry set and leaned over to me. "Maybe you shouldn't touch it, dear. It looks like an accident waiting to happen," she said. "Yeah, I got a few minutes before an accident I'm going to cause. I can wait." Apparently, banana peels can talk on phones too. Mark put on a coat and turned around. He folded up the collar, shoved his hands in his pockets, and let a creepy smile spread over his face. And you know that squirmy, prickly feeling you get when you let a millipede crawl on your arm? I had that feeling, but in my stomach. Mark had turned into an evil scientist. But I didn't know how evil he could be until he came home the next day with a goldfish. So, if you liked the beginning of that story, which I'm sure you did because I totally did, check out My Big Fat Zombie Goldfish by Mo O'Hara. Finally, you know I always save the best for last because I love them so much. We have two graphic novels to highlight to you. Um, I keep forgetting to say like what grades should probably read this. I would say for these, My Big Fat Zombie Goldfish and Milo Moss is officially unamazing. Um, Elementary, middle to upper elementary. I think My Big Fat Zombie Goldfish could even be read by lower elementary or but yeah, I would say mid to upper elementary, um, middle grade, etc. Donut the Destroyer by Sarah Grayley and Steph Perenens. Donut the Destroyer, raised as a villain but determined to be a hero. Donut, middle name The, last name Destroyer, has a heart of gold and incredible strength. She lives in a world where everyone is born with a special ability and can choose whether to develop it for good or for evil. Donut has just received the best news of her life. She's been accepted to Lion Scout School for Heroes. But her parents are the most infamous villains around, and her best friend, Ivy, can't understand why Donut would choose a life of boring heroism and ruin their plans to cause chaos. Donut is determined to prove that, despite her last name, she's meant to go her own way and be a hero. Meanwhile, Ivy cooks up a plan to get Donut kicked out of Lionheart and back on track to villainy. So this book, I'd say about middle grade. Uh, but the way it's written, I feel like elementary and middle grade would be fine. Um, I love the illustrations in this book. I love the expressions on Donut's face. That's so cute. I'm gonna read a quick little excerpt because I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I want you guys to get an idea. So she gets accepted to Lionheart. This is her first day. "I hope your first day at Lionheart has been warm and welcoming, but as heroes in training, you'll quickly learn that it is our duty to go above and beyond, so I'm informed to inform you of the welcome ceremony that we'll be holding next month. It's an extravagant event where we will officially induct you as Lionheart students. Today has been fun and all, but is it really a warm welcome without fireworks? I think not. Your parents will be invited. You'll be given your special Lionheart capes, and most exciting of all, we'll be announcing our junior super prefects for your year. Allow me to introduce the senior super prefects to tell you what it means to be the face of this proud institution." I chose this page because it just looks so funny. Being a super prefect holds many responsibilities. To be kind, academic, trustworthy, and strong. If you're in trouble, we'll be there for you. But if you're causing trouble, we'll be there to issue you a warning. We uphold the school's rules and spirit, so if you need help, come find us. We're here to help you shape into the heroes that you're destined to be. We lead by example. We strive for the best from both ourselves and from you. We also get to wear these extremely luxurious and special honorary golden capes. And Donut's just like, whoa. If you found that excerpt to be interesting and you want to learn more about Donut the Destroyer's uh, path to heroism, that sounded weird, path to becoming a hero, we're going to go with that. Read that book. Finally, Farm Crimes, Cracking the Case of the Missing Egg. This book is really good for uh, we'll say it's definitely good for reluctant readers. Someone had wonderfully highlighted last week. I think it's Petticoat Pedagogue had made a comment last week on the Instagram that graphic novels are great for resisting readers, and that is completely still true. So stuff like Donut the Destroyer and Farm Crimes are good. And if you have a child who really likes the picture books, but in you've tried to get them into easy readers and then tried to get them into the first chapter and they're not quite going there, but they still seem to be interested in like graphic novel type books, this is a really good transition book for them, because of the way the pages are laid out. It kind of is like a picture book, but there's a little bit more text, but it's not dense. So it's a good way to kind of transition them from the picture books to this kind of graphic novel, and then eventually to an easy reader, to a first chapter book, or this could actually be alongside an easy reader because easy readers are also very they're easy to read. So this is actually probably more of a transition from picture book to easy reader to this kind of graphic novel, to maybe a heftier graphic novel, to first chapters and so on and so forth and what have you. Some of you might recognize that from too. So here you go. Um, in this book, they are solving the case of the missing egg. So, oh my goodness, this is his name. Okay, so we have Inspector William Van Hoof. Oh, okay, let's read the back. Hen's egg has gone missing, and the farm is in a frenzy. The culprit could be anyone from the barn. Was it pig, maybe dog, or sheep? Or could it be a burglar? The animals know exactly what to do. Call the inspector. There's no better sleuth for cracking this case than Inspector William Van Hoof. Not only is he the world's top goat detective, he's also the world's only goat detective. Young readers will be delighted to solve this zany farm crime, likely before anyone from the barnyard has a clue. This book is by Sandra Dumas. So, Inspector William or Van Hoof. All right, see here. He's writing down notes for the case. Let's start at the beginning. Tell me what happened. Well, I was sitting on my egg, waiting for it to hatch, and I must have drifted off. When I woke up, it was gone, says Hen. What am I going to do? Calm down, says William. My friends, what is the first thing we do when something goes missing from right under our goatees? And Hen says, Dog says, take a nap. Raccoon says, eat garbage. And sheep says, knit a scarf. And pig says, yes, please. No, says William. We have to. Look for it. Good point. So if you want to know how far they get into this journey, I would suggest checking out this book. So these are the books that we highlighted today. Such as that. We have Calm with the very hungry caterpillar, Whistles for Baby, A Little Book of Kisses, Zero Local, Next Stop Kindness, our Celebracion, Germs versus Soap, Professor Astrocat's Deep Sea Voyage, Milo Moss is officially unamazing, my Big Fat Zombie Goldfish, Donut, the Destroyer, and finally, Farm Crimes, cracking the case of the missing egg. I hope you guys enjoyed our selections today. I will see you next week for Let's Talk Kids Book Live. And of course, join us for the rest of the week for our other programs, Virtual Storytime Live. We also have, oh my goodness, why am I forgetting? Oh yeah, help! We've turned into puppets! So check us out all throughout the week. Say hi, comment, like, share, do it all. We love you. We miss you. Can't wait to see you. Have a great day.